Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's been a while since I've done one of these positively paranormal videos. Partially, I had to do some traveling and I got out of the routine, and that's definitely something I need. I got to just keep in the regular routine of things to be doing these regularly. And I want to get back to it, and I really don't want to do one today. But one of the things that I want to talk about and is to appreciate each day. We always do some positive messaging and tell some ghost stories or talk about some weird locations, and I'm going to be talking about Sedona, Arizona, this magical, wonderful place. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I was at a concert recently with that my wife's band was playing in Sunspot. You should have been there. It was amazing. And Lisa Van Buskirk, who is a good friend and a wonderful person on her own, was kind of acknowledging all of the awesome people in attendance and said, man, there's some really cool people. And it wasn't me specifically, but it was the band, all of us together. And I said, yeah, that's the best part of being alive, is collecting awesome people in your life. And, I'm writing this book right now where it's celebrating a very lucky and fortunate life that I've had in being able to be a storyteller for the last 25 years and celebrating the cool locations and the great stories and adventures, but also celebrating the people in my life that I've crossed paths with and shining the light on them. And I think that's one of the great things that as creators, no matter what level you're at, it's such an opportunity to be able to publicly shout out and to thank people who were important parts of your life, who are important parts of your life, who influenced you in different ways. And yeah, I'm going to talk about Sedona because a wonderful human being named Nicole Crombie. She was Nicole St. Anthony when I first met her. She is the first person to bring me out there, to show me around. And I'm sorry to say that I'm doing this in memory of her. She just passed away. And there's going to be a lot of cuts in this as I try to pull myself together to get through this. Being vulnerable on the internet is never a wise thing, I guess, but it's what I want this to be. I want it to be an honest. There's so much negativity and nastiness out there in the world, and I want this channel, this show, to celebrate positivity. But there's obviously tragedy. We're often on this channel, most of the time on this channel, telling ghost stories, and that doesn't happen usually without some tragedy, some heartbreak. It's an opportunity to thank someone who was important to me, to celebrate the adventures that we've had, and what she brought into my life. And she was going to be so featured in this book because, well, she showed me Sedona. Not only is it a cool place, but it's mystical and magical. And she kind of opened me up to a whole new world of a lot of different things, a lot of things that were new and out there for me. But she was my Sherpa into that world of energy and meditation and things like that. And also, of course, in this episode, the message being to take advantage of every moment. And I have been for a week or more putting off like, I'll record an episode later. Stephen King points out or calls out one of his favorite quotes: every word written is a victory against death. You achieve some level of immortality by creating. And so the idea that I'm saying, well, I'll create tomorrow, I'll do this some other time, is me just not rising to that opportunity that I have, that we all have as creators. I'm definitely going to do a more in-depth update when it comes to what I've been working on, what I've been doing with my book, because it's been very exciting. And it was really just a couple of weeks ago that I had a new epiphany about, again, celebrating the people whom I've come in contact with. Really quickly, I do just want to take a moment to celebrate Nicole and the great times we had. We actually met way back in the day through a friend through autograph shows. And I'll pull up ye old Facebook here. And I don't know if this is the first time we met. I don't think it is actually, but it is an early time. That is Nicole in the red right here. There I am behind her, and her best friend, Brittany, next to her. There were a handful of autograph shows. We worked together assisting the celebrity signers. That is Teresa Russell next to me, who became one of my just most important people the most important people in my life. And Brenda Backey to my left, your right. And if you're an LA Ghost Story or LA filming locations fan, I've talked about her because she played Lana Turner at the Formosa Cafe scene in LA Confidential. Hey, if you're a fan of the Friday the 13th series, that's Louise Roby to the left. But yeah, we went from meeting at those types of places to she came out. This is my first apartment in Los Angeles. I love this photo. Look how young I am. And then she and Brittany came out and visited me on set. This is on the set of Burlesque. And there you get a good idea of our height difference as I am taking a knee for both of them. And of course, then eventually she invited me. She said, hey, family's doing this vacation. We're heading out to Sedona, where her mom would go frequently. I think Nicole had been out there many a time as well. And this is a photo. A monk-like dude got a kick out of taking this one. And yeah, so Sedona, you definitely have a lot of spiritual, shamanistic type people that head out there for all of the good energy of the area. And we went up there for sunset on Airport Mesa, and there was a bunch of people trying to get a well-timed photo of them all jumping at the same time. And this monk-like person was able to capture that as well. If you were following my weekly, I think there were Facebook broadcasts, but then I posted them on YouTube as well. Through lockdown, I was doing these weekly ghost storytelling sessions, and you might remember that in a handful of them, I was promoting GoFundMes to try to raise money for Nicole. She's been dealing with cancer since 2017. And what a journey she went on. And I don't want to be giving too many details. I want her to have her privacy even after the fact, but it was a hard struggle. And 2017 to just yesterday, she fought so hard. There was a lot of fight in that fierce human being. She loved her horses, and yeah, she ended up moving from Illinois to Arizona. And I think that really elevated her, lifted her spirits a lot. I think I will leave that at that. But now let's talk about Sedona. Let's take a hard turn, but to talk about a place that we had so much fun exploring together. And I've been back a number of times since, and I'll get into one of my favorite weird oddball oddity stories. Nicole was not there for this one, but it was definitely about Sedona. And I knew about it because of, well, I guess because of the Mothership Connection radio show I used to host and all the crazy theories that were going into the end of the Mayan calendar. So I'll take you on a tour of our tour of Sedona. Some pictures up here I'm going to skip for the time being, but I'll get back to this amazing stupa here. Just a very, very peaceful place to go pray, meditate, to feel connected. Prayer flags all over the place. And this huge wooden carved Buddha statue, which is just gorgeous. Yeah, obviously I enjoyed taking photos of it. I'd love to go back there. I think it was like near the Montezuma caves, something along those lines. But there's a belief that some of these cave paintings, which from this angle, it's hard to really make anything out, but it's a belief that there are ghosts actually depicted from ancient peoples here. So that's pretty neat to see ancient peoples talking about spirits coming back. Again, just everything was so gorgeous. And yeah, that is actually in that cove is where the ghost cave paintings are. This place is gone now, which breaks my heart, but there was an awesome UFO cafe diner type place there. I can't believe this thing couldn't stay in business because it was just so much fun. Obviously doing good business on this day. But then, yes, lots of things like you see there, Psychic Expo, lots and lots of stores. As my caption says, I can't even remember what this is called, but this is, again, some sort of an energy centering. I think it touched all of your chakras and focused them, something along those lines. I don't know. But again, Nicole and her mom were really my guides through this unique area, this unique aspect of Sedona. And there Nicole is getting an aura photo taken. Oh, and of course, in addition to Sedona, Jerome, Arizona is about 45 minutes away, I want to say, a little bit further north. We'll take a look at that in Google Earth as well. Jerome is apparently incredibly haunted. Just tons and tons and tons. Old mining towns tend to be, right? You often hear ghost stories, and it's amazing walking around this place just because it is beautiful. And now it is very much an artist's community. All of these different artists have galleries and all these different buildings. And of course, the buildings often date back to the Wild West era. So lots of history as well. And of course, the crown jewel, I think when it comes to haunted Jerome, is the Grand Hotel. Yes, I think it was a very early episode of Ghost Adventures. I would assume many shows have been there. And it's a casual place, as you can see this, that sign. You got to respect any store owner that has flexible hours like that. And well, hey, it's an old mining town, so you had to have a house of joy to keep the miners company. And I don't know what that place is now, if it's still called that. But yeah, I think that is exactly what you assume it is. There is the Jerome Grand Hotel off in the distance in this photo. The House of Joy would be immediately to my left. And then there was this other off the beaten path, again, just old miner town, like a town within a town on the outskirts of Jerome. And it was definitely a self-guided walk around kind of a place. But the proprietor, I think, was the real deal. He may have been a miner back in the 1800s. And there he is. Again, I don't think he's an actor playing a role with outstanding makeup and wardrobe. I think the dude just is. He is the last man still standing on this mountain. Again, as you see, they are not bashful to share stories about their ghosts. And a lot of these stores have, in addition to whatever they are, they also have their ghost story that they are happy to give a ghost tour of whatever's happening in their place. Oh, and that is the first place I ever, memories flooding back. That is the first place I ever had a prickly pear margarita. And yeah, that flavor. Yes, here's the Jerome Hotel, outside and inside. And you'll have to forgive me if I'm not at the top of my game. I have not memorized all of the Jerome ghost stories I could tell. I just don't remember them and don't have the bandwidth right now to look them up. I know that that's very lame of me. But it's also a very famously haunted place, so you can find those stories anywhere. What I can share, though, is an experience I had. I was co-hosting a show called The Mothership Connection on WLIP in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with Dobie Maxwell. Had a blast doing that for years. And when I would come back from Los Angeles, I would sit in and do guest episodes with him. When I lived in Illinois, I did it every single Sunday for a long while there, but eventually moved to California. But I came back often. And if I wasn't in Chicago visiting Nicole, I would be up in Kenosha doing the radio show. And we did an episode in later 2012 and talking about the end of the Mayan calendar and what is going to happen. All of these different theories. And one that was gaining prominence was nicknamed the 1111 phenomena. And that is, and of course, people still put a lot of significance into, hey, do you frequently notice the clock when it says 1111? I am, not to be Mr. Skeptic, but I feel like that's a unique time. So that's going to stick out more to you. But a lot of people thought, or were led to believe, you never really know how many people think a certain thing on the internet. Likes mean nothing. Just because something's written about doesn't mean anybody else is giving it any credibility. But one of the things that we were seeing written about was that people were believing that if you were noticing 1111 frequently, that meant you were a chosen one. And on, was it December 21st, 2012, you should go to Sedona, to Bell Rock, because if you go up to the peak of Bell Rock at 11:11 p.m., a portal will open there and take you to another dimension. You are one of the selected people. And that, of course, freaked some people out because they thought, okay, well, first off, got to be kind of dangerous hiking up there in the middle of the night. But also, would that end up becoming like a mass suicide location or something like that? Would things get really, really dicey? So I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I thought I could drive to Sedona on December 21st, 2012. Why not? Let's see what's going on. And I was expecting a spectacle. I was expecting, the tinfoil hats, all the cliche things. I was expecting a carnival. Really what you see in, was it Independence Day, when everybody's kind of welcoming the UFOs. When I arrived, it did not disappoint, because I drove straight directly to Bell Rock from Los Angeles, however long that drive is. And as I pulled in, it was packed full of people, including police, different law enforcement agencies with binoculars out monitoring the rock, making sure that things weren't going down. So yeah, dead center almost of Arizona. Again, just an incredibly beautiful location. If you've never been there, find a way to head on out to Sedona. Just the natural beauty of the place is amazing. And actually, let me bring Bell Rock up. That is what it looks like. It's an incredible land formation. Really not nearly as big as a lot of what's around it, but it is a very hikeable formation, which makes it accessible. It's actually very easy to get up to about where my cursor is here. I think getting up to the very peak would be difficult, but I want to try it one day. Yeah, I want to get up there. And there were plenty of people that were all the way at the highest peaks. But yeah, just hiking around this thing was a blast. Again, I did this. I hiked on this day and also in 2010 with Nicole and her family. So I thought, if this place is such a spectacle in the middle of the day, I can't wait to see what's going to happen at 11 p.m. How jammed is this going to be? So I think it was around 8 o'clock. There's a parking lot not too far away, about where the camera started on Google Earth here. I pulled in about 8 o'clock, like I said, and I was the only car there. I thought, well, I guess I'm early to the show. I thought people would be camping out, they would be picnicking, partying, starting the hike to be able to get up there in time. And I waited probably for about an hour in that parking lot, and nobody else came out. And I thought, well, I still have a couple of hours to kill. I'm going to head into town and see what's going on. Maybe there's something else happening in town. And I went through, and it was a ghost town. Just nothing is open. Very, 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 very quiet. And I finally found one shop open, and it was a crystal shop. And I walked in and I talked to the clerk, and I said, hey, this must be like a big day for a lot of people, right? Like, a lot of people have a lot of big beliefs about what might happen today. And he said, yeah, but it's Sedona. So even the end of the world isn't going to keep people up past 8 o'clock here. So I turned around and went back. I just could not believe how anticlimactic that was. That, yeah, even the end of the world, Sedona is a sleepy town. They're not going to stay up for that. Oh, and I did say I wanted to look at Jerome, Arizona from Google Earth and see how far it is from Sedona. So we're leaving Sedona around there. And here's Jerome, which you can see even from here, the way the roads are stacked up. It is on a mountainside, and the drive up there is a little hairy. I do have 3D photos checked, but it doesn't look like there are any 3D buildings mapped out yet in Google Earth. This building here is the hotel. Let's see if I can just drop our little guy in and take a look at it. Oh, we can go directly inside. That is a spooky elevator. All right. Somehow that we took the elevator down to the front lobby now. So there's a nice ominous angle looking up at the Grand Jerome Hotel. It's set off separately from the rest of the town. The rest of the town is in this direction. So obviously I'm not studied up on Jerome, Sedona, all of this. Oh, I haven't gotten to writing that part of my book yet. And probably a little ways off too. But I just wanted to take a little look, show you around. I believe this is an old bank building that is now just completely gutted and has been that way for decades and decades. Also, I think I remember a story that one of their buildings essentially slid down the side of a hill. And I want to say it's over here as well. The ruins of it. But it's an amazing place. Absolutely worth a visit. If you can get out there, find a way to make it happen. And if you get out to Sedona, you're almost there. You're about 45 minutes away. It's absolutely worth the additional drive for a day trip. There are all these beliefs that Sedona is full of vortices, I suppose you should say, where that there are energy portals, if you will, coming through. And I don't know what to make of any of that kind of stuff. To be quite honest with you, I'm not saying anything's impossible. I just don't really know. But I can tell you that the area feels amazing. It's just, how can you not be inspired when this is your 360-degree view? There are legends, of course, of different UFO type lore of the area. You can head out there and take UFO tours. All right. And so I was let down. I did not get to see a portal open up over Bell Rock. I'm going to keep going back and maybe I'll just hit it lucky one of these days. But I'm usually looking for a unique visual for a thumbnail, and we might as well make that portal open up. Here we go. Let's see what we can get. Wow. That is pretty intense. That is way more sci-fi than even I was thinking of. It looks like the whole rock is a portal in this scenario. I guess this one's close. I mean, that's not too far off. We're looking at it from inside a cave. I think I'm going to lose that, but I could make that work. This one is ominous. This one's scary. So I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to keep it positive. So as I say goodbye today, and I say goodbye to Nicole, the last image I will leave up today is a beautiful shot that I got that I think of often when I think of her, which is her. We are about halfway up Bell Rock here, and again, I was too afraid to go towards the edge. She's right on the edge, and she's meditating, and it's just a beautiful shot of her at peace as she is now. Thank you for being in my life.